Hello, everybody. This is Bobbi Bainey, and it's Monday. So here I am again with our Thinking Big with Bobbi B show. Every week, I work to bring you industry experts and small business owners that I think are just crushing it, so we can all work together to figure out how we can better market our small businesses. And I'm excited about today's show because last week I had a guest on that was talking all about social media for realtors. So Katie Lance was on. It was a great show. I had tons of real estate agents on, and I wanted to follow it up with an actual agent that was really doing the work and thinking outside of the box in her Instagram content. So let me introduce you to my friend, Sarah Koroll. I met Sarah years ago. I had bought a new townhome, and Sarah was an investor in my building, and was really one of the most reasonable human beings in the entire neighborhood. So it was so great to meet her. And I've been having a blast just watching her grow her company, grow her business, her, expand in her experiences. And most recently, I've been totally digging her Instagram stuff. So before we dive into that, Sarah, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about the company. She works for April. She just told me how to say this, properties. And we want to hear a little bit more about your journey, and then we'll start talking about some Instagram.
Sure. Well, I've been doing real estate for 15 years now. So I help a variety of buyers and sellers and investors. It's been a fun ride to see the changes, the crash in 2008, and now the extreme inventory shortage and tons of showings and big fun sellers market we're having in 2020. So it's been a lot of changes, but I've been loving it, and bringing social media into my business has been a lot of fun too. I personally started on Instagram in 2013, and I didn't bring it into my business until 2017. So I had attended a conference in November of 2017, and the speaker really stressed that video was going to be what it was going to be. It was not going to be photos anymore. It wasn't going to be articles and posts. And he really stressed that to us. And he encouraged everyone to get out of their shell and get used to the sound of your voice, get over your nervousness, stop being upset with your appearance, and just jump out there and start doing video. So I started to do more on Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Those were my four chosen channels. And I really thought, okay, what could I do that was original content, that was not curated content? A lot of other agents were suggesting to me that I should subscribe to a service that was going to post for me on certain intervals to each channel. And I thought that sort of canned approach wasn't right for me, because real estate's really local, and posting articles from across the country don't apply to our area. And what would happen if someone from my network said, hey, I read that article that you posted, blah, 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 and I didn't know what they were talking about because I paid this service to do that for me. So I felt that original content was really the way to go. And social media is kind of taking over the internet. It's become people's source of news and entertainment. It's their voice. So that's really a comfort zone for a lot of people. And I find myself spending my free time looking at a lot of food content. That was something really interesting to me. And I feel like that applies to everyone. So
We all eat.
yes, we all eat. So I felt it was important to show something that wasn't going to polarize my audience. There's no politics, there's no opinions, it's just food. And I especially like the dessert side of things, because dessert brings people together. It's what you're celebrating. It's a milestone or a birthday. It's that last thing that everybody does together after dinner. And it brings an emotion. It sparks something inside of you. Everybody has to make dinner, has to eat, but to have something a little extra special, I think, is what kind of brings people together. So that's kind of how it started too.
Wow. You know what? I am blown away. I feel like this introduction might be one of the best segments of any show I've ever done. You hit on so many amazing points right out the gate. So first of all, video. Oh my God, you guys, it's everything. And in case you haven't heard me say this before, almost 80% of all content consumed online is in video format. So if you're still posting just pictures and haven't figured out video yet, you are way behind the times, because that's what people watch. So you have to create that kind of content. And I also absolutely love how you talked about like eliciting an emotion. If you don't do that, you're not really ever getting that hook into somebody, right? They have to feel something to keep going. So that was awesome. And from a real estate perspective, and this is one of the reasons I really encourage realtors to step out of the box and do something different, because there's so many, and I'm sure they're fantastic services for real estate agents to help them just effectively get content out. But for all the reasons that Sarah mentioned, canned content is just, it's not emotional. It doesn't build your brand. Nobody feels like they're getting to know you. And so, in my opinion, it's completely ineffective, except for the fact that it looks like you've shown up on your page and done something. So my gosh, Sarah, that was so amazing. I really, honestly, I'm banging my microphone around now. I love it. That was so good. So now I want to tell you guys, because Sarah kind of led into this a little bit, of exactly what I've been watching. This is the reason that I asked her to get on the show. Is I noticed a while back that she started making these amazing videos in her kitchen of recipes. And I was like, this is so cool, because I knew right away what Sarah did. And I just loved that she was like offering this value, something everybody could use. And it wasn't about real estate. It was really about, hey, get to know me. And if we click, she's going to be your girl, right? It's all about that. Find that commonality with people and then figure out how to take it to the next step when you start to see who's engaging and what they're saying. So that said, first of all, we're going to pop up. I want to say two things before we're done here. One, I will be dropping links to Sarah's Instagram and her website and all those things in the comments as soon as we're done here. Two, stay tuned, because I have a tiny little giveaway at the end of this show. I've been trying to support some of our small business owners selling products online, so we've got a little something to give away today. So stay for that. But now I'm going to ask Sarah a few questions. I kind of want to get into how she's, obviously she was inspired by someone she saw at a conference. So important that everybody is doing everything they can to continue their education so they get these tips. But I want to hear, first of all, tell me a little bit about, well, you told us why you chose to do video, why you chose to do cooking. I know one of the things you said that I love is getting over those fears, right? The fears of people, I hate my voice. I've actually I made a video once, and the video producer changed my voice because he said it was too high. And then everyone's like, who's that dude on your website? So you have to get comfortable with what you look like, what your voice sounds like, your personality. So I love that you said all that. But tell me a little bit about the setup, because your videos look so professional. And I think that's another thing that intimidates people is, oh my God, I have to hire a video producer and a video, shooter and all the things, and have a big camera and all kinds of fancy lighting and things. Tell us about your process.
Sure. So I love photography to begin with. And when I started this, I was shooting with a DSLR, a Sony. I had it all set up. And I found that that is not the way for me to do it. I need to shoot the easiest way to edit it afterwards, because the editing takes so much time. So that kind of was a hurdle I had to get over with at the beginning. So I have a little bit of an advanced ball head tripod that I love. It also does the over the stove shots, which is really important. So I have that, and I just shoot with my iPhone 11 Pro, and sometimes I do some different things with lighting. I have a roll of laminate that I put out over the island, because you have to be careful with reflections. Lighting is the biggest thing in video. So I've kind of adapted and adjusted to that. And after that, I have a ton of clips that I need to be going through, editing. So really the easiest thing for me was just to begin shooting on my iPhone. That way it was always with me, and I could start to edit throughout the week after that. I have girlfriends that joke with me that they want the cookies, they want the cupcakes. And I'm like, well, I filmed that 4 days ago, so those are all gone, because they just how much work goes into editing after the fact. You want everything to be perfect, and you take 15 minutes of shooting, and some of it's time lapse and some of it's slow-mo, and you have to clip it all together to get your final product. So just working on the introductions, and sometimes if I do a little exit at the end. that takes a lot of practice. So I kind of think of what I'm going to say at the beginning, think about it throughout the day, is something that really I have a passion for. So I never really feel like it's work when I'm doing it. I hope that, exudes the fun that I'm having, the confidence that I have when I'm doing it. So it's really an easy setup. And if anyone were interested in getting into showcasing something that they're passionate about, I encourage them to just get out there, get a tripod, get some lights, get whatever they need, and use a good phone if that's going to be the easiest way for them to edit, and just really jump in.
That's so interesting. I have done all of our videos on my various iPhones as they've progressed. Now the iPhone 11 Pro also. And I did start using my DSLR a little bit, and I found it fun. There was some different features. It gave kind of a little bit different depth. But at the end of the day, you don't need anything fancy. I mean, using your phone is completely adequate. And by the way, Sarah is definitely, I can tell she's skilled in this video editing thing. When we do our blog videos for YouTube, my business partner's a former video editor, and he edits those videos, and it's high level. But I will tell you, it doesn't have to be. There are apps that you can do editing right on your phone as well if you wanted to, just piecing, stitching different things together. The more experienced you get, the more inspired you're going to be to kind of level up. So just get started, right? I mean, sometimes it's just get started, make a video. I think we would all look at our very first video and laugh at ourselves, and that's perfectly okay. Not as many people see the first video, so it's all good. But definitely you can get started fairly easy. And all those tools that Sarah's talking about, lights are inexpensive. They're really not a big investment. I don't need fancy tripods because I don't need the over the stove view. Nobody would want to see my over the stove view. But for people who are making a craft or doing something like that, there's phenomenal tripods that, again, aren't very expensive and allow you to, position your camera so it's facing down over a surface, and all kinds of easy ways to get that stuff going. Now, when you talked about kind of your script, I like that you mentioned that, because that's something else people get nervous about. And I hate when people type it out and then read to me in video. So I really encourage people to do bullet points if they need that. Do you even do that much? Or you sound like me when I go to speak somewhere. I just talk to myself all day, and then I'm all prepared when I get there.
Right? Yeah, no, I repeat it a lot. And you find that the more clips or the more takes you make, you end up liking the final clip anyway, because you've gotten it down. And sometimes it just takes all of those clips to get you to the final finished product, because that practice, while you feel funny doing it, no one else is watching. I'm in my kitchen by myself with a Bluetooth remote, and I can take that clip 100 times if I need to until I feel comfortable with it. And then I just know I mark that as a favorite at the end and move on to the next stage.
And that's a great tip too. And you can do that same thing in stories. And I have so many people that are still not creating stories, which is driving me nuts. But again, if you don't like your story, just delete it and start over again till you get a clip that you like, because the video is just that important. It's totally worth taking that time. So tell me a little bit. Let's talk for a minute, about, because so you're taping these videos and then you're putting them in all those platforms, right? So are you taping them uniquely for Instagram, or you're just taping them and putting them in the platforms you're on?
So I've done a little bit of a mixture. I like to shoot now in portrait because reels are really fun. I didn't get into TikTok, and now that we have that possibility on Instagram, I think that's really fun. I typically shoot in landscape mode, knowing that I'm going to need a 16:9 ratio. So if I'm shooting photos and need to crop them afterwards, I'm always just kind of cognizant of that. But yes, I do like to kind of mix it up. And I always put everything on my personal Facebook, my business Facebook, my business Instagram, and then to YouTube. But I don't mix that into LinkedIn, because this part of my business is the fun. And I don't really think that applies to posting about properties or stats or other things on LinkedIn. So I really kind of, while I do mix it up, I tend to lean towards those three.
I love that. That is such an important lesson too for business owners to understand, is not every platform is suitable for the same content. I got into TikTok, well, when COVID hit, because I was bored out of my flipping mind and started making stupid videos. And it's so fun that I couldn't stop. So we opened a TikTok for our business, But what we're doing, again, is creating the videos in our phone, completely independent of any platform. Then we can go put it on TikTok. We can put it in stories. We can organically put it in Facebook stories, LinkedIn stories if it's applicable. So, know what your content is, know who your audience is in each different platform that you're residing in, for business. Because if it's not suitable, you don't want people in LinkedIn to think you're not that professional. They have a little different, view of things there. So really, really good tip. And so what kind of success, what kind of response are you seeing from this? I mean, obviously I'm noticing. So
Yeah,
I want to hear what it's doing for business
yeah.
and for your audience.
It's really connecting with people that I wouldn't normally interact with. So, we have some different social circles in our family that we're involved in, and it's really great to be able to see someone that I see once a year. And the first thing they do is walk up to me and say, I love your banana bread recipe. I make it all the time. A girlfriend will reach out and say, hey, I'm making a cake for my niece's birthday. What do you suggest? Do you have any tips? Or I need to buy a gift for my daughter. I was thinking of an ice cream maker. Do you have one? All of those kind of little tie-ins. Nobody's asking me about real estate, but they're telling me in a roundabout way that they've seen what I've been doing. And my husband gets questions all the time, whether he's at golf or hockey or charity events or work. What's your wife making this weekend? What's she up to? Always, trying to fatten him up. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
See, and now, and that's the thing about video that is so exciting to me, and that I try to translate to my audience all the time, because I've had that experience doing video too when I'm marketing for McHenry's Fiesta Days, and then I show up there, and all of a sudden you've got all these new friends you've never met before, because they feel like they know you even though we haven't met, or it creates a conversation we never would have had. And here's the thing, you guys, how often do you sell your house? Not very often, right? Most of us do that, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So our opportunity to call Sarah is fairly limited. But if we have a reason to see her and talk to her and engage to her when the time comes, who do you think people are going to remember? That person they're talking to. That's why this is so important, and why I love what she's doing, because it doesn't have to be about real estate all the time. I'm not selling my house yet. It's about making a relationship, or deepening a relationship. So when the right time comes, you're the person that they think about. And it sounds like that's exactly what's happening for you.
Yeah, yeah, it's been really great. And I like it because when you get referrals see you only, say, if I didn't have this, on a blog or a website or a business Facebook page. And now when someone goes to my Instagram, because that is, kind of overtaking a lot of the other platforms, they can go and see and get a personable, relatable snippet of me at the beginning. And then when you get that message through Instagram, you're like, oh, okay, then they already know a little bit about me. They've checked me out. They feel like they can relate to me. And it makes me feel good that they've researched me, and then I can't wait to get to know them, reach out to them. It's a lot less formal than an email or a call. It's a new way of getting to know people, and I love it.
I do too. And, and not only is it really flattering that people are looking at that stuff, but here's the thing. We live in a society now where by the time someone actually calls you, they've probably learned so much about you, you'd be freaked out. They've probably done their homework. Maybe someone recommended you and they were like, well, I'll go see if she's legit. So by the time they show up, they already know so much. But here's the thing, if during that research process, they don't feel that connection, they're just going to look somewhere else, right? So it's all about, just creating some kind of commonality between two people where they think, oh yes, my girl, this is, a person I feel I can relate to. And you know what? And that being said, authenticity is so important. And I've actually had people say to me before, well, you swear too much. I can't have my people come watch you. And I'm like, then they're not my people. And that's okay. So sometimes you're just really trying to build up your tribe of people that you're going to enjoy working with. Like Sarah said, she gets excited knowing, these people have watched her content and they do this kind of research. And so she's looking forward to that relationship too. So showing up authentically is so important, just so people can find the person that relates to. And if it's not you, that's okay too. You don't want to work with people that aren't going to like you, like you want the people that feel attracted to, what you're offering.
Yeah. And I think going back what you said about buying or selling every 5 to 7 years, it's a great way to keep in touch with people afterwards, because you find out a lot about people when you do a transaction with them. You talk on the phone, you email, you text multiple times a day. And if you have some other connection, you know what they like to do and they know what you like to do, you're going to maintain that positive social connection after the transaction. That leads to a lot of positive other things, not just that one time that you sold their house 10 years ago, but people really do come back to you. And when you're in the business 15 years and more, then you really kind of see that just grow and develop. And it's really rewarding. Relationships that you make in real estate and then in other industries similar to that, insurance, etc. It's just really rewarding. Part of what I love what I do.
Oh, that is so awesome. So you had mentioned that Instagram is taking off more so than some of the other platforms, which I want to ask you a little bit more about what you're seeing there, because one of the reasons I spend more time on Instagram in terms of content than anywhere else is we see the same thing. It was easier to grow an audience, getting a little tougher now, much tougher. If you're not creating, by the way, if you guys aren't creating Reels content, you're also going to see a little dip in engagement. When I put up my real stuff, it gets so much more engagement than everything else. So that's really important. But what are you seeing in all the, like overall, tell me a little bit about what you're seeing happening in the platforms you're putting your videos in.
Sure. So the most engagement I get is on Facebook. And I think that's because I have a different mix of people there than I do on Instagram. Instagram is where anybody can find you. Anybody can look at you. There's less fear of, oh, well, they know that I looked at their stuff, because people know when you put stuff on Instagram, everybody can find it and see it, especially with the new Reels feature where you can hit explore
Yep.
and that shares it to everyone. So I see a lot more commenting on Facebook. I think because people know that that is more private and they can share what they feel and comment and know that only a fewer select group of people are seeing it. But then everyone can see things on Instagram. So I get, a different audience and a different mix of reactions. But Instagram, I think, is what I cater things to more so. And I think it at some point it will take off, more and more than it is even now. And with the new Reels feature, I've done 2 of those. Hope to do more coming up, but I just think they're really fun. And then the same thing now with LinkedIn, adding stories. That's huge. A lot of people in my network on LinkedIn are not using stories yet. So when someone does, they are front and center at the top of your feed because it just is not that popular. It's only, a couple weeks new. So
A couple weeks new. I like that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did a story about this show today, and there aren't that many people. As a matter of fact, when I look at my stories, I don't know anybody that's creating them for the most part. So diving into and leveraging those opportunities, stories everywhere, but especially stories in new platforms like LinkedIn. By the way, YouTube's getting ready to launch them, and so is Twitter. So figure it out, everybody. You can't keep ignoring these things. But like in Reels and TikTok too. Now, interesting because that you mentioned like how people in some platforms tend to watch more. And I find that in TikTok. Like I did this, I have this new rescue pit bull. He had a squirrel jump on the deck. I think the squirrel was going to get into his lap. It was hysterical. And I happened to have my camera. So I shot a video, added it to a really funny audio clip, and put it on Instagram. I didn't get a ton of engagement. I mean, I had a lot of likes, not a ton of comments, but I had 13,000 views on that particular, which was a lot. I mean, I haven't been on TikTok that long. So even though there is an engagement, that reach opportunity for people to just see you is huge.
yeah.
And the algorithm measures that too, you guys. So even though not a ton of people were engaging, because so many people were watching, a lot more people continued to see it. So, keep that in mind too, that the metrics in every different platform can kind of mean something different based on really how people behave in that platform, so that's kind of unique too. Well, so it's already been a half hour. This always goes by so quickly. So, Sarah, do you have any other tips that you want to share either with other real estate agents or with small business owners? You have put out such great tips already, but I don't want to not give you the opportunity for anything else you wanted to share.
No, I just think share your passion, something that you like to do. People will want to see that more so than properties and stats and things like that. If you mix in a little bit of your personality along with what I think are called lifestyle posts or
Yeah.
things that I'm doing on a daily or weekly basis, letting people in a little bit, definitely find what you're comfortable with and get out there. The more that we can do to engage with people and then engage them back on whatever platform they're talking to you on, take an interest in someone, strike up a friendship. You never know. Referrals can come from anywhere, and new friends and new clients can come from anywhere. So just be comfortable and get out there, and good things are going to come from it. Show that you're having fun, that you're passionate, and you will attract a lot of clients that way instead of chasing clients. So it's just a domino effect or a snowball effect of good things to come your way.
And who wants to chase clients? That's exhausting. It's so much better when they come to you. And Sarah, this isn't the only. I just want to make it clear, even though I hope you'll all go check out her Instagram when I drop the link. It's not the only content you're putting up on your Instagram profile, though. I mean, this is just a piece of the content. She's filling this in with other types of content too, right?
Yes, yeah. So I put a mixture of properties, new listings that I have, videos, virtual tours, things under contract, mortgage information, stats. It's a good balance of everything so that you're not just always seeing me in my apron. You're not just always seeing something that sold really quickly. It's a good mix.
It's awesome, and I really enjoyed watching it, and I love it. Really, it just really inspires me when I see someone and I know what they do, and I see them kind of step out to show something else they're passionate about and really let us get to know them. So kudos to you. It's you've really done a great job, and I'm so grateful you came on here to share so much awesome information with us. So now, before we say bye to Sarah, I have someone that watches the show all the time. I hope she's on here now. Her name is New Creations by Jen. Here's her logo. She sent me this cool little thing. But I jumped on her website. She is making the coolest little things. And I found this holiday ornament. I had to buy a couple of them. Can you guys see it? 2020 would not recommend, 1 star. Because we have to remember this year on our Christmas trees, right? It'll make us grateful come next year, I hope. So I'm going to send this out to one of our lucky viewers today. I know it's just a tiny little thing, but here's how we do a little random drawing. We'll do this tomorrow night. So all you got to do is type 2020 in the comments, and we will randomly select someone to send you out a little holiday ornament just to say thanks for tuning in and to help us support some of our fellow online business owners. So with that, I'm going to wrap this all up. Sarah, thank you so very much for jumping on. First of all, it was really good to see you. We don't have as many excuses to communicate anymore.
Yeah.
We had a really good one for about a year. We won't dive into that, but oh my goodness. Anyways, so I thank you so much. I hope business continues to be great for you. If anyone's looking for an awesome agent, I can tell you from experience, Sarah's such a professional. She's really doing it. Such a great job. And we're going to drop all those links. So if you're catching this on the replay, let us know. #replay. I always like to know when you jump in, and go up and look for those links and check out what she's doing. And follow, like, all those great things so we can kind of support each other. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much, Sarah. We're going to sign off. Everybody make it a great week. Don't forget to vote, and we will see you soon. All right. Bye-bye. Whoa. Bye-bye.